Hi, and welcome to VoiceOver Startup. My name is Jeremy, and I am new to the world of voiceovers. I started this past November of 2017, and have been doing it, since then. I have so far about, I think, 11 audiobooks published on the ACX platform, and I've done a number of one-off freelance projects, and I haven't quit my day job, but this has been kind of a fun sideline to do. So my idea here in starting this little channel is obviously not to make money, because you got to have 1,000 subscribers until you make money, but just to kind of share some of the things that I've gone through as I've started to get into the voiceover business. Just a bit about myself. I worked in commercial radio from 1985 till about 1995 or 96, so just over 10 years in commercial radio. And I worked on air, various formats, top 40, classic rock, country formats, worked afternoons, worked evenings, was a morning news guy, so have done a lot of stuff in the radio world, production director at a few stations. And let me just say that it's a completely different world now than it was in the 80s and 90s. Back in the 80s and 90s, the idea of doing voiceover work was just kind of out of reach, right? Because you would have to spend thousands of dollars, and it all happened in big cities, Los Angeles or New York or Chicago. And this idea of being a voiceover guy, of course, you had to have the big booming radio voice and the movie trailer voice and all of that. And that was my idea of what voiceover was. And a good friend of mine who stayed in radio, he and I worked together in Oklahoma in radio, and he stayed in over the years. I got out and, to be honest, had to make more money, so started doing other things. But he stayed with it, and he started doing more and more voiceover stuff. And then I came across, I just was looking at YouTube here a few months ago about voiceover stuff. And I saw this guy, Bill DeWeese. Some of you have probably seen some of his videos, who's had a history in radio, worked in radio, did learning and development, just like I did. His resume was a lot like mine, only his was a lot better, right, in terms of his radio experience and that sort of thing. But I was in a similar situation, because that's what I do. I work in corporate learning and development. I'm a leadership development programs manager for a company that runs call centers all over the world. And in that capacity, I've done a little voiceover stuff for e-learning projects and things like that. But I never really thought about it as a vehicle to make money. But I saw some of his videos, and I thought, a guy could do this. And again, I was never one of the booming radio boss jock type voices that were popular back in the 70s, right? Never was. That was never my style. And to be honest, I never really thought I really had the big voice that you needed to do voiceover stuff. But watching Bill DeWeese, doing a little research myself, I came across Fiverr, which is a website for freelancers. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a whirl. And I bought a little mic. It was probably $70 condenser mic, and downloaded Audacity, and I put up my shingle on Fiverr. And you know what? My first month, I think I made $20, right? I did, no, that's not true. I made $50 my first month, and that was from two orders, right? And we'll talk about Fiverr in more detail, but that was the beginning. And then I did some work on Upwork and got a few jobs there. And by March, March was the first month that I made $1,000. So I made $1,000 in March. So that's after 4 months. And it's gone up and down since then. But I've been, kind of hovering around that $1,000 a month mark since I started, 5, 6, 7, I guess it's been almost 8 months now. 9 months. It's been longer than I thought. So I probably not 1,000 every month, 700 to 1,000 every month is kind of where I've been. And most of that has come from audiobooks. So that's kind of the niche that I've kind of gotten into. And so what I plan to do on this channel is just kind of share some of the things I've gone through as I've gotten started. And I'm new at it, right? I'm new. So I'm not an expert, but I can share some of the things that I've learned. One of the things that I have noticed is the old school, right? The old school voiceover people, they don't like Fiverr. And they don't like these freelance sites because it cuts right into their business, right? But I think they're great. I think it's awesome. And because of the way technology has changed, it's opened the door to the entrepreneur that wants to do these things. There aren't the gatekeepers. There aren't the barriers to entry that there used to be in voiceover work. And that's exciting. So I hope you'll join me. And I plan to post these videos regularly, and hopefully you'll find some value in those. And I'll just kind of talk you through some of the things that I've had to go through if you're interested in starting out in voiceover work. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.